that tomorrow is brighter than yesterday.
Enjoy real value online with TM Pick and Pay Click and Collect. It's time for the news.
This is a live broadcast of the main news, and we're coming to you from our Pocket Hill studios in the capital, Highlands, Harare. Wherever you're watching us from tonight, it's good to have you with us. I'm Vicky Maponga, and Peaceway Jomunyika is at the sign language desk tonight.
My name is Joyce Mabika, and later on we'll be joined by Arthur Evans from our Montreux studios in Bulawayo. These are our leading stories tonight.
Namibia President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah in Zimbabwe on a familiarization tour of the region.
In other news, Lamote Dairy produces more than 1,000 liters of milk per day.
And in our look at sport, Zimbabwe's premier bowler blessing Muzarabani to play in cricket's most lucrative tournament, the Indian Premier League.
Well, those are some of the stories to look forward to in this bulletin. We'll now give you the news in detail. Namibian President, Her Excellency Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, has arrived in Zimbabwe on the fifth leg of a familiarization tour of the region.
This follows her inauguration as Namibia's fifth and first female president on the 21st of March this year. Details of that report we will bring you as we progress with the bulletin.
Meanwhile, the signed agreements of cooperation between Zimbabwe and Belarus during President Emmerson Mnangagwa's recent visit to the Eastern European nation are expected to deepen bilateral relations.
Last week, President Emmerson Mnangagwa led the Zimbabwean delegation on a 4-day return state visit to Belarus after the European country's President Alexander Lukashenko visited Zimbabwe in 2023. During the visit, several memoranda of understanding were signed between the two countries in various fields, including information, health, agriculture, and tourism.
We reflected on the significant achievements of our partnership over the past few years. We have been particularly gratified by the increased high-level interactions and expanded cooperation we have seen since President Lukashenko's state visit to Zimbabwe in 2023. You will recall that during that visit, we signed the overarching framework of cooperation between Zimbabwe and Belarus to ensure effective follow-up in the implementation of our growing strategic interests across all key sectors. We now look forward to taking our bilateral interactions to the next level by leveraging Zimbabwe's strategic location within Southern Africa. The initiative to position Zimbabwe as a regional manufacturing hub for Belarusian products is therefore a welcome development that will strengthen our bilateral trade and support broader regional economic integration in Southern Africa.
The Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Jennifer Musere, says such engagements, particularly in the information sector, will enhance collaborations of mutual interest, revealing that the national broadcaster will also benefit from the Belarus agreements.
The agreement which we have signed is also to finalize the digitalization and the transition from analog to digital, as we seek to ensure that we achieve 100% media and technological sovereignty for our country. But other aspects also include the modernization of our studios and the rest of the infrastructure in order to ensure that we've got information ubiquity across the country.
Zimbabwe and Belarus engagements speak to Zimbabwe's aspiration of attaining an upper middle income society by 2030, with collaborations under the engagement and re-engagement drive being prioritized.
Zimbabwe's private sector continues to benefit from President Emmerson Mnangagwa's bilateral engagements with the recent Belarus state visit, witnessing key collaborations in various sectors of the economy.
Geopomona Waste Management Company Chief Executive Officer Dr. Dili Shinguwaya was part of the private sector delegation to Belarus and acknowledged the key collaborations which culminated in the signing of a memorandum of understanding with the Belarusian government in waste management.
We signed the memorandum of understanding with the government of Belarus as Geopomona in terms of waste collection and water treatment plant, and also for sorting plant and other recycle material equipment. As Geopomona, we are happy that we are going to put our input as a private sector by buying those equipment from Belarus and to bring it here to Zimbabwe and to supply the whole country, and also to clean the whole country using those equipment.
Bus assembly firm AVM also applauded President Mnangagwa for opening doors that are essential in upgrading the local bus and truck assembly industry.
The visit was very beneficial to both AVM Africa and the industry in general. We visited Mars bus plant, which is on 170 hectares of land. I would want to think it is one of the biggest bus plants in the world. We also visited tractor and truck assembly plants with Dr. Ushe, the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, which is our parent ministry. The idea being to getting the automotive industry back on its feet.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, Dr. Thomas Ushe Utete, said the Second Republic believes in a private sector-led economy.
The intention of the Ministry of Industry and Commerce in this particular case is to ensure that we bring value addition into Zimbabwe. So we are looking at negotiating with the Belarusian companies to come and set up assembly plants here, particularly looking at Harare or any other city that has got the capacity and infrastructure.
The agricultural and transport sectors are some of the two key industries which have benefited immensely from the renewed relations between Zimbabwe and Belarus, with the tractor facility having improved the mechanization of the agricultural sector. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
At the Southern African Development Community Transfrontier Conservation Areas Conference has kicked off at the Harare International Conference Center, with delegates upbeat of fruitful deliberations on wildlife conservation.
Bringing together decision makers, technical experts and conservation leaders, the conference will address urgent threats to the region's biodiversity, including climate change, habitat loss and the significant conservation funding gap. Welcoming delegates, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Environment, Climate and Wildlife, Ambassador Tedious Chifamba, highlighted the need for inclusive dialogue with local communities, sharing the environment with wildlife.
Let us seize this opportunity to strengthen our partnerships, align our priorities, and chart a course towards a more sustainable and precious future for our people and our planet.
Director of Food, Agriculture and Natural Resources at the SADC Secretariat, Mr. Domingos Gwale, challenged delegates to engage in constructive discussions that sustain ecosystems and communities that depend on them.
Crucially, we also need to cultivate innovative public-private partnerships for conservation and climate finance. The private sector, from tourism operators to financial institutions, can be a powerful ally in resource mobilization.
For the delegates, this is a decisive moment for the SADC region to ensure wildlife conservation is enhanced.
Governments are going to recommit themselves towards supporting the TFCAs. As you know, it requires political will because we are dealing with sovereign states. So it requires political will of the government, and so that they can work together and make sure that that TFCAs are functional.
It's really a wonderful time to talk shop and talk about conservation, talk about environmental issues, and really I think it's a fantastic opportunity for the region.
We are an integral part of the Greater Limpopo Transfrontier Conservation Area, and we are hoping today that the interests of all of the TFCAs within the SADC area are represented and promoted for all of the people within SADC and within the region and for the world as a whole.
The high-level conference is also expected to secure stronger political and financial commitments to elevate TFCA's role in promoting biodiversity conservation, regional integration, and sustainable development. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Harare.
We'll now bring you full details of the report where Namibian President Her Excellency Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah has arrived in Zimbabwe on the 5th leg of her familiarization tour of the region. This follows her inauguration as Namibia's 5th and first female president on the 21st of March this year.
The visiting Namibian President Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, her first to this country after assuming office early this year. She was welcomed at the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport by the Vice President, Colonel Retired Kembo Dugish Mohadi. Madame Ndaitwah has been to Zambia, Angola, Botswana, and Mozambique. Also, the receiving party included several government ministers and senior government officials. Though she could not talk to journalists upon her arrival, her mission is to officially introduce herself to her peers after taking office early this year. Namibia and Zimbabwe's freedom was all achieved on the battlefield, and Madame Ndaitwah comes from that generation of militants. She is expected to meet the President, Comrade Emmerson Dabuzwa Mnangagwa, this coming Tuesday. Ruben Barwe, ZBC News, Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport.
The Agricultural and Rural Development Authority, ADA, has charmed parliamentarians through its contribution to agriculture, which has seen farmers realizing bumper maize, soybean harvest, coupled with an early start to wheat planting throughout the country.
Farmers in Mashonaland Central Province are enjoying bountiful harvests due to seamless collaboration with the Agricultural and Rural Development Authority, ADA, at Malvin Farm in Matebeleland. Parliamentarians who are assessing the feasibility of joint ventures were charmed by an ongoing 500-hectare joint venture, while harvesting of 100 hectares of maize and planting of 100 hectares of wheat were in full swing at Kwaedza Farm in Glendale.
Chakanyanya kusha ine marriage ne ADA ndechokuti wapuwa wadzosera mari. Kana une dambudziko, you rob them and say kuti amana uyamuzona kumunda kwakunomira zvakanaka with a genuine reason altogether.
Past 4-5 years to improve sema farmers through joint venture. Yataita ne ADA na Matangira. There are many changes like finance wise, production wise.
Saka tavatsanangurira takavaratidza chibage chimwe chatakakohwa isati chaenda kumaketi vakaona zvakare chimwe chichiri mumunda. Zvakare mu wheat season yatiri ino tiri kurima wheat ne ADA yakatipa ma-inputs ekurima 100 hectares ze-wheat.
Chairperson of the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Lands, Agriculture, Water, Fisheries and Rural Development, Honorable Felix Maburutse, said the ADA joint venture program has become a driving force in Zimbabwe's agricultural revolution.
These ventures with ADA, it is proving to be working well for the country. And if ADA is equipped properly, I am telling you, we can assure the nation that we are going to be food secure.
Mazoe Central Legislator Honorable Max Monjanji said Mazoe has become a national breadbasket riding on productive partnerships like the other joint ventures.
We've seen the benefits which comes with these joint ventures. We've seen in terms of productivity, the 5 farmers which came together, they are producing 500, they are doing 500 hectares. In terms of feeding the nation, I think this will help us.
ADA Acting Director Forbes Maudza urged farmers to collaborate with the authority as it is on a government-mandated drive to eradicate hunger.
Isose ADA tinoti tiri masoja anopedza nzara munyika. Nekurudziro yandinoita kumango provinces nemamwe mafarmers ariko dai vabatana vaita joint ventures andika vochiuya kuno kuadha tovapa maresources atinawo tichivabatsira neruzivo rwatinaro kuti tipedze nzara munyika tipedze urombo munyika because tinotarisa kuti varimi ava vanenge vane dividend ravachawana pakurima kwatinenge tichiita nawo.
With harvesting nearly complete, ADA has shifted focus to the winter wheat cropping season, where it is targeting over 60,000 hectares of wheat to complement government efforts. Tapiwa Machemeze, ZBC News, Mazowe.
The ZANU-PF-led government under the leadership of President Emmerson Mnangagwa has transformed Zimbabwe through improving people's livelihoods as the country journeys towards Vision 2030.
Zimbabwe's transformative agenda is reached all corners of the country as the ZANU-PF government pursues Vision 2030 under the inclusive development mantra. The ZANU-PF-led government came up with people-centered policies that have seen establishment of strategic business units, construction of dams to enhance irrigation, modernization of the road network, thereby opening the economy for transformative investments.
Since we got into the new dispensation, there are a lot of achievements that the party has made, politically and economically. Now, yes, opened up the investment opportunities in the country, where we have seen big investors coming into the country. You have the steel companies that have been set up, massive investments that have come into infrastructure development. You see the road, the highway from Bridge to Chirundo, which for the first time was done by our local engineers and planners.
According to the ruling party, the milestones achieved by the Second Republic are anchored on President Mnangagwa's 7th leadership thrust.
The unity of our people has been enhanced in that Zimbabweans remain as one, and he has ensured that they continue as one. You see, for the first time, again, I've been in government and party for a long time, in leadership. He has visited areas like Matebeleland more than any other president or leader that led us. He has visited all provinces in equal measure, and he knows people in their environment. He knows people, the life of people, where they stay, what their expectations are, and consults from time to time. So I can say this country is on the right track.
The Second Republic National Transformative Agenda has seen massive infrastructure development being realized across all sectors of the economy.
Look at our agriculture. I mean, we've never achieved the figures that we talk about these days in agriculture. Mining, the same thing. Tourism, the same thing, if not more. And even our international relations have improved, through engagement and re-engagement policy. So what else would one want, when all those things are either completed or in the pipeline? So I, as Secretary General, are happy with what the President has done.
Since inception, the Second Republic has made huge strides in delivering infrastructure development through flagship projects such as the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport, Trabablas Interchange, dam construction and road rehabilitation, while also enhancing agricultural productivity and providing social safety nets. Bruce Jawanda, ZBC News, Harare.
The First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa's initiatives in the preservation of culture have been praised at the UNESCO Africa Week, which commenced at the UNESCO headquarters in Paris, France this Monday.
The First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, who is the country's patron for culture and heritage, continues to inspire the global community owing to her sterling efforts in the promotion and preservation of Africa's rich cultural heritage. She shone like a beacon at the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO Africa Week, which kickstarted at UNESCO headquarters in France, Paris, this Monday. Dr. Mnangagwa, who was invited by UNESCO to be guest of honor at the Africa Week, arrived at the UNESCO headquarters in Paris to a rousing welcome from more than 40 African ambassadors who paid glowing tribute to her for her well-thought-out initiatives aimed at promoting and preserving the continent's rich cultural heritage. Africa Week celebrations have coincided with the Culture Month. In her address, Dr. Mnangagwa highlighted the need and the significance of preserving cultural heritage.
I am truly convinced that Africa's cultural heritage is not just a collection of artifacts or traditions. It is the living spirit of our people. It holds the wisdom of generations, the resilience of our ancestors, and the vision for our shared tomorrow. In the words of the Akan people of Ghana, wisdom is like a baobab tree. No one individual can embrace it. This proverb teaches us that our cultural heritage is a collective inheritance meant to be shared, upheld, and passed on together. It is through culture that we tell our stories, heal our communities, and build sustainable futures. Each cultural practice, no matter how small, serves as a vessel of intergenerational wisdom. In my work with youth education and the empowerment of girls and women, I have seen firsthand that when we nurture cultural identity, we cultivate leadership, innovation, and hope. Preserving and restoring our heritage is not about looking backward. It is about equipping young people with the tools they need to address these challenges today and in the future. In my quest to find these solutions in Zimbabwe, I have gone back to the village to work with the chiefs and elders who are the custodians of indigenous knowledge systems to retrace the good cultural education systems that once held society together. For many reasons, this knowledge and wisdom had been thrown away and replaced by modern education systems which lack the community touch. Hence, together with elders, we are reintroducing good practices such as the Nanga Gota Ikliva sessions for girls and boys between the ages of 10 and 13, where they are taught life skills for them to grow up into well-mannered and responsible citizens. The Yoruba say, I quote, "A child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth," unquote.
Dr. Mnangagwa also highlighted the need to build cultural institutions to promote and preserve cultural heritage.
As we face global challenges, we need to dig deep into our cultural archives, revisit our indigenous knowledge systems. These offer powerful solutions that the world urgently needs. In Zimbabwe, we have a saying that until the lion tells his side of the story, the tale of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. This is why restoring African voices through our heritage is not optional. It is essential for rewriting Africa's narrative with truth and justice, for our voices to be heard without any reservations. Programs that uplift women and girls are not just social interventions, they are strategies of cultural survival. When a girl is educated and rooted in a culture, she becomes a pillar of strength, not just for a family, but for an entire community. Our African heritage is very rich and must be revitalized. This has opened a new horizon for us all here, our continent Africa, to stand in true solidarity with each other and to invest in youth education that is rooted in our own country's identities, protect indigenous knowledge systems, and to honor our women and girls who are the custodians of this practice. I therefore encourage our African nations to build cultural institutions, libraries, and museums in order to preserve and promote our heritage. Let us all recognize that culture is not a relic of the past. It is the foundation of science, innovation, sustainability, and peace. Through the restitution and restoration of our heritages, we can empower a new generation to tackle global challenges with solutions born from the heart of our nations. I want to conclude with a Xhosa proverb which says, The child who is not taught by the mother will be taught by the world. So let us be the ones who teach our children through culture, heritage, and wisdom before the world shapes them in a way that erases their identity.
A documentary detailing Dr. Mnangagwa's breathtaking works meant to promote and preserve the country's rich cultural heritage was beamed, giving the world a glimpse into what she's doing towards the preservation of culture. After listening to her speech and seeing the initiatives she's implementing in the preservation of culture through a documentary, guests were awestruck and paid glowing tribute to her, saying she was setting a good example for the entire continent. Professor Peter Ngure, the Ambassador Permanent Delegate of Kenya to UNESCO, described Ame Mnangagwa as the African pride.
Her speech was very stimulating because she was not just sharing knowledge, she was also sharing her experience, and it was punctuated by deep convictions that she has, especially for women and children, and the connection between that and our traditional knowledge systems. I was particularly enthused to realize how she humbles herself and goes down to the grassroots to meet the poor of the poorest, to meet the elders, and to humbly listen and be able to make sense of the deep wisdom that emanates from our elders. She's really an icon and very well deserving as the ambassador of culture in Zimbabwe. I wish we could elevate it for her to be the ambassador of culture for Africa, because really she lives by example. Her humility, her knowledge, her articulation of the points, and even the call for action that she left behind will remain in the minds of the African team.
Mr. Jean Celestine Jange also hailed Dr. Mnangagwa for her ingenuity.
I was very, very happy to listen the First Lady of Zimbabwe. She talked about our history, our culture, and the necessary to be transmitted between generation and generations. People who are old have to help the young people, young ladies, young boys also, to know our history, to write our history, and to transmit this history.
A participant from Algeria also marveled at Dr. Mnangagwa's work.
It's important to transmit our heritage because it's part of who we are, and I really think that especially when you come from the diaspora, it's important to never forget where you come from, and we can express these intentions by sharing our culture through traditional dress, like food, for my part, or through art in general.
The program was also characterized with panel discussions, including the one on the role of education in the restitution and restoration of African heritage. During the discussion, the director of the Division for Education 2030 UNESCO, Ms. Min Jeong Kim, underscored the need for youth to claim and defend their heritage, adding that education plays a key role in giving young people the knowledge, critical thinking skills, and cultural awareness.
We really believe that education can be a powerful tool to help African societies, especially young people. And I think many of us have also made reference to the youth and the importance of youth, including the First Lady of Zimbabwe earlier. And it's really up to the youth to reclaim, defend, and reimagine their heritage on their own terms. And this is what UNESCO is committed to supporting through research and facilitating knowledge exchange, and to make sure that these efforts are also based on evidence and also best practices.
Mr. Masanori Nagaoka, the Regional Advisor for Culture, UNESCO Regional Office in Nairobi, said it is everyone's responsibility to identify and protect cultural heritage sites. The UNESCO Africa Week is a diversified program that includes conferences, cinema, gala, and exhibitions, and this year's edition has attracted participants from 153 member states. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Paris.
Remember, you can be kept updated on all the local, regional and international news on our website www.zbcnews.co.zw. Across all social media platforms, you may find us at ZBC News Online.
Indeed, and here are stories you can still expect ahead in the bulletin. In other news, Lamote Dairy produces more than 1,000 liters of milk per day. And later on, we'll look at sport. Zimbabwe's premier bowler Blessing Muzarabani to play in cricket's most lucrative tournament, the Indian Premier League. Join us for these and more stories in detail when we return from this break.
Zimbabwe, through the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructural Development, is excited to host the 10th International Civil Aviation Organization Africa Indian Ocean Aviation Week, taking place from the 26th to the 30th of May 2025 at the Elephant Hills Resort in the majestic city of Victoria Falls. This event is set to be officiated by the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, His Excellency Comrade Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa. The Africa Indian Ocean Aviation Week is dedicated to advancing safety, security, and development of the aviation industry. Among the distinguished delegates will be the International Civil Aviation Organization President, Secretary General, Director Generals of Civil Aviation Authorities, among others. Africa Indian Ocean Aviation Week, advancing global aviation standards.
Stay connected to DSTV this April and May and get all the football finals you want.
Shumba Plus Dust, the extra strong grain protector. More power for less money.
The grand finale of Amai's traditional cookout competition is set to ignite the stage on the 25th of May 2025 at Mabidi Stadium in Bainbridge, Matebeleland South Province. This exciting event brings together talented chefs from communities, tertiary institutions, professional chefs and persons with disabilities, all showcasing the finest in local cuisine, from indigenous dishes to creative gastronomic twists, spearheaded by Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Zimbabwe and Patron of Tourism, Dr. Mnangagwa. This national initiative promotes Zimbabwe's gastronomy while preserving cultural identity through food. As we celebrate unity and diversity across the nation, the cookout highlights culinary excellence, innovation, and inclusion. Come and experience the true taste of Zimbabwe, where heritage meets creativity and every dish tells a story. Let's celebrate Africa Day in true gastronomic style. Discover the hidden gems of Matebeleland South Province. Enjoy vibrant cultural performances and explore Zimbabwe through its flavors and warm hospitality. Entry is absolutely free. Experience Zimbabwe. Zimbo, Zimbabwe Gastronomy Cookout Finale 2025.
Steelmate Investments, your friend in steel, is the leading supplier of high-quality steel and roofing sheets in Zimbabwe. We also supply grating, clear view fencing, Benox plates, puke pipes, checker plates, seamless pipes, and many more products that we have in stock. Visit us today at our Glen Eagles branch, which is at stand number 706 Glen Eagles Road in Harare, or call us on 0787 001 643 up to 6. You can also visit our Affirmative branch at number 346 Affirmative Way in Willowvale, or call 0788 930 556 up to 61. Our Mbare branches are at gate number 8 Siaso at Magaba, or you can call that Mbare branch on 0782 408 415. Our other Mbare branch is the Discount Steel branch at number 1 Easterman's Place in Magaba as well, or call 0736 439 999. Steelmate Investments, your friend in steel.
Are you a dynamic and enterprising woman running a small business? Whether you're involved in horticulture, fashion design, visual arts, confectionery, the beauty industry, catering and food services, event decor, poultry farming, goat projects, cross-border trading, or small-scale retailing, this is your moment. Join us from the 6th to the 8th of June at Harare Gardens for the inaugural Women's Market Galore. Showcase your business at this groundbreaking event hosted by Empowerment Champion, the First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa. Admission is free and you are all invited to come. For registration and inquiries, please contact 0719 527 703 or 0778 858 056. Empowering women means empowering the nation. Don't miss this opportunity to shine.
Welcome back. 2025 marks 62 years since the formation of the then Organization of African Unity, now African Union, with a continental body focusing on issues of reparations this year. The details.
The African Union has designated 2025 as the Year of Justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations. According to the body, the initiative underscores the AU's commitment to addressing historical injustices, including the transatlantic slave trade, colonialism, apartheid, and genocide. It came after the African Union joined the United Nations at the World Conference Against Racism, Racial Injustice, Xenophobia, and Related Intolerance in 2001 to adopt the Durban Declaration and Program of Action.
The partnership between the African Union and the United Nations has never been stronger. Together, we see an Africa booming with hope and possibility. You have a booming, enterprising population, including the largest number of young people in the world. The African continental free trade is poised to turbocharge the region's economy, and calls to address the legacies of colonialism and slavery are growing louder, as reflected in your theme this year.
The declaration acknowledged the appalling tragedies of racism, racial discrimination, xenophobia, and related intolerance, including slavery and the transatlantic slave trade, and emphasized the need for victims of human rights violations to have access to justice. In November 2022, the African Commission on Human and People's Rights passed a resolution on Africa's reparations agenda and the human rights of Africans in the diaspora and people of African descent worldwide. The resolution reaffirmed the 2001 Durban Declaration and Program of Action as comprehensive framework addressing racism, racial discrimination, xenophobia, and related intolerance.
It's upon us now to continue to work and capitalize on your work that you're living for us. And I count on your support and experience, as well as the support of all the other African countries, so that Angola can also undertake a presidency that will be at the level of our expectations, and that we can also add our efforts for the achievement of the development goals of our countries, together with the achievement of Agenda 2063.
As the body marks 62 years of existence, the upholding of the Declaration on Reparations influences intracontinental engagements and the charting of a way forward for Africa. Olina Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
Zimbabwe is strengthening its diplomatic and developmental ties with the Vatican, with commitment to peace, social progress and institutional cooperation taking center stage.
As global diplomacy places greater emphasis on stability, Zimbabwe is strengthening one of its most significant and influential partnerships with the Vatican. This comes after Vice President General retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga, representing President Emerson Mnangagwa, attended the inaugural Mass of Pope Leo XIV at the St. Peter's Basilica, accompanied by his wife, Colonel Miniotabo Chiwenga. The move highlights Zimbabwe's foreign policy is firmly anchored on the principles of peace and multilateral cooperation, values that closely align with the Vatican's global mission. Zimbabwe's collaboration with the Roman Catholic Church is evident across multiple sectors, including health and education. Vice President Chiwenga's attendance at Pope Leo XIV inaugural Mass highlights the depth and intent of Zimbabwe's ongoing engagement with the Vatican, a partnership that goes beyond religious tradition to reflect a strategic alignment in key areas such as peace, education, and national development.
Our Montrose news crew is on standby, and I'm heading over to Arthur. Good evening, Arthur.
Thank you so much, Vicky. Our attention heads straight to Matebeleland South, where commercial livestock farmers are investing in massive silage production as the province upscales efforts to contribute to the growth of the national herd.
A site of a truck-mounted silage cutter on a 120-hectare forage maize field at the Agricultural and Rural Development Authority Ada Antelope Estate in Mapisa, Matobo district shows a province that is dedicated to boosting its cattle herd after having recovered from severe drought last year. The estate joins a growing list of commercial farmers in Matebeleland South who have invested millions of dollars in silage production to cushion their cattle from future droughts.
Due to the drought that we experienced last year, and those who are also doing milk production, we saw it prudent that we produce silage for the community as well as those who are doing dairy, so that they can have the milk and also to sustain the national herd. We are anticipating to do 65 tons of silage per hectare.
Government has also invested in training and hay baling equipment to support communal farmers as it endeavors to build resilience against adverse effects of climate change and boost production.
As government this year, we are saying let's increase our area under fodder crops, and also let's encourage our farmers to make feeds for our livestock. As you can see, this farmer here has gone full scale to plant about 120 hectares that are earmarked for silage making. We are encouraging even our small-scale farmers to go into fodder production in form of silage and stove ammonification.
Earlier this year, government procured more than 3,000 hay baling tractors to be distributed to the 4 cattle provinces to enhance efforts to boost livestock production. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News, Matobo.
In the same vein of thinking ahead and in a move set to enhance medical tourism and restore airline confidence, a new modern hospital is under construction in Victoria Falls.
From modern healthcare infrastructure to increased tourism, Victoria Falls is undergoing a transformative period of growth. A cutting-edge hospital project being developed through the Igu Real Estate Investment Trust, Igu REIT, is set to improve healthcare access for residents and simultaneously attract international visitors to the tourism capital. The development places emphasis on sustainable, inclusive growth, promising a vibrant future for the UNESCO wetland city.
The Igu REIT is developing a premium hospital facility
It will start off with 36 beds in total, although the market size is estimated at about 108 beds. We are going to do it in phases, starting off with 36 beds, offering all the premium world-class medical facilities.
The impact of this initiative goes far beyond healthcare.
What this does is that it increases airlift capacity of the Victoria Falls International Airport. So now wide-bodied airlines can have the ability to land on the Victoria Falls Airport because in case of emergency, they need a certain minimum number of hospital beds to handle casualties should that unfortunate event happen.
City officials have welcomed the project.
On its own, this is a way of coming up with what we call medical tourism. So many people will be seen flocking to this place, and this will actually bring about investor confidence in Zimbabwe, especially in Victoria Falls.
Victoria Falls continues to position itself as a multifaceted destination of choice with growing investment in tourism supporting infrastructure, including sports and medical tourism. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
The country's milk producers continue to step up production, and this is to meet the national demand, with the newly established Lamotte Dairy in Masvingo producing more than 1,000 litres of milk each day.
Lamotte Dairy, which has become one of the biggest producers of milk in Masvingo province, started production early this year and boasts of more than 300 dairy cattle. The dairy project, owned by Deputy Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Road Development, Honorable Davis Marapira, is currently supplying nearly 8,000 litres of milk per week locally. The enterprise targets to produce 10,000 litres of milk per day, with the project currently putting up a modern milking parlour and production of ray grass for feeding.
We are now majoring on dairy farming. I'm happy that we have diversified into dairy. Currently, we are holding about 300 dairy animals, and our target is to milk 1,200 dairy animals at a Lamotte farm here in Masvingo.
The project is seeking to complement government efforts to increase milk production at low cost.
Producing milk under grazing conditions. We have ryegrass here with a crude protein content of 15 to 28, depending on how much we look after the grass. We have a little bit of lucerne within the ryegrass. We have chicory, again, within the ryegrass. So this cocktail will improve our milk yields. We want to produce an average of 26 litres under grazing conditions, but at the same time with the lowest cost involved.
Recently, students from Esigodin Agriculture College in Matebeleland South embarked on a learning visit to Lamotte Farm with focus on how to practice dairy farming with minimum costs.
Starting from the gate, I was very impressed, starting from the biosecurity. As we know that these days, there is a lot of zoonotic diseases which are all over.
For us maybe to improve the national health as a country, I think we need to educate farmers the best way of raising the dairy animals.
The farm is also into poultry and crop production. Potential increase in production from 66 million litres in 2017 to more than 100 million litres last year, against a national requirement of over 130 million litres, riding on government support through strategic initiatives. Ms. Matina, ZBC News, Masvingo.
We're going to milk all the time that we have with you by giving you more stories from our Pocket Hill studios immediately after this break. Do stay with us.
stuck on you. Ooh, obsessed with you, I'm obsessed.
With Showmax, your favorite characters now follow you anywhere. Download it today and watch the best in local, international, and everything in between.
Atlas Convention 2025 Global Edition, themed Investing in Africa's Prosperity, will be held in Victoria Falls. Experts from plus 133 countries will gather at this landmark event to explore transnational trade, investment opportunities, academic research insights, and bankable high-impact innovations for Africa. From the business of our bustling cities to the melting pot of African adventure safari,
Bungee jump Victoria.
AtlasConvention.com. Atlas Convention, bringing African opportunities to the global stage.
And we look into the courts. A 33-year-old man from Zimbiru village in Domboshava has appeared in court facing charges of aggravated indecent assault.
Tendai Mashingaidze is being accused of engaging in an inappropriate conduct with the two male juveniles aged 15 and 16. The court heard that Mashingaidze allegedly had a relationship with the complainants during which the indecent assaults occurred. The case came to light after he was reportedly caught in the act with one of the victims, leading to his arrest. Mashingaidze was remanded in custody pending further legal proceedings. Last month, Enmo Gumbo, a deputy school head at Masase High School in Mberengwa, torched the storm after he allegedly sodomized over 35 pupils at the school. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
And that's our look at the courts, taking us to a break. When we return, we'll give you the latest in sport. Stay with us.
Get ready to shape Zimbabwe's socio-economic future. The University of Zimbabwe is inviting researchers, innovators, students, entrepreneurs, the academia, industry, commerce, and the public in general to its 6th edition of Research, Innovation, and Industrialization Week, running under the theme From Innovation Hubs to Commercial Markets, Building Zimbabwe's Economic Pathways. From Monday the 19th to the 24th of May 2025 at the University of Zimbabwe Innovation Hub. Join us as we share highlights from our research, innovation, industrialization ecosystem, showcasing breakthroughs in science and technology, innovative solutions, and entrepreneurial talent by our students, researchers, and innovators. Don't miss your chance to be part of this transformative experience. For more information, contact Professor Chifamba on 0772 573 418 or Professor Namo on 0775 132 202. University of Zimbabwe, educating to change lives.
Welcome back. We now take a look at sport. Zimbabwe's Premier Bowler Blessing Muzarabani has been signed by Royal Challengers Bangalore to play in cricket's most lucrative tournament, the Indian Premier League IPL. The lanky Muzarabani has replaced the South African Lungi Ngidi, who has left due to national team commitments. The Highfield-born star will join his new teammates after conclusion of Zimbabwe's one-off test match against England on the 26th 26th of this month in time for playoffs. This is not the first time that Muzarabani has been to the IPL, but he has never played a match, as 2 seasons ago he was signed as a net bowler at Lucknow Super Giants. Royal Challengers Bangalore are coached by legendary former Chevrons batsman Andy Flower. Brendan Taylor and Sikandar Raza are some of the few Chevrons players to have played in the IPL.
Fading giants Dynamos and Caps United dished out a classic Harare derby at Rufaro Stadium on Sunday that brought yesteryear memories.
The two giants have been a pale shadow of themselves in recent seasons, and the emergence of new forces has not been kind to them. However, this Sunday at Rufaro Stadium, they reminded everyone that there are still forces to reckon with in local football after dishing out a classic derby. While it was not a vintage Dimbari versus Makepekepe affair, the match was still worthwhile and had end-to-end action for the greater part of the duel. The clubs have seen their matchday attendance dwindling due to poor performances in recent times, but a derby day, they turned up anticipating a show, and they were not disappointed. Dynamos fans ignored calls to boycott the match as they turned up in their thousands and, as usual, occupied Vietnam and Bari end stands, while Sea of Green was at the city end. Yes, the crowd was not a record crowd, but it was still significant, especially for teams that kicked off the match in the relegation zone. Had it been another season with the two clubs in top form, the ceremonial home of local football would have been shaken. The first half just flew by, with end-to-end action being witnessed, with the two teams failing to get a grip of the match, but the second half was different. Dynamos started strongly and duly took the lead after Emmanuel Jalai converted from the penalty spot following a handball by a Caps United defender. The goal sprang Makepekepe into action, and the former Celtic midfielder Kundai Benyu decided to announce himself onto the local scene with a spectacular goal that brought the whole crowd onto their feet. The Green Machine, with a much stronger bench, tried to find the winner, but Dimbare held on to share the capital bragging rights. Yes, Scotland have changed the game. Moors too have upped the ante. Simbabora have cleared the way, but their red derby is still alive. Lawrence Truseda, ZBC News, Harare.
A former Kasolaga Premier Soccer League champions FC Platinum continue to struggle in front of goal despite protecting their unbeaten run.
The former champions recorded their 10th draw on Saturday after forcing a 1-1 share of spoils with Bikita Minerals. The Lithium boys had a decent day dictating pace in the midfield, finding an opener in the first stanza before FC Platinum restored parity in the second half, courtesy of a penalty, after they'd fluffed numerous chances in open play. The Zwane-based side are undefeated in 12 outings, but they have only managed to win twice, and they have scored a mere 8 goals. Only Dynamos, Kwekwe United and Chicken Inn have scored fewer goals than the Platinum Miners. Head coach Nomen Mapeza is still hopeful his boys will end their goal-scoring woes.
We are creating opportunities. There's an opportunity which was cleared off the line. Then there were some other opportunities. I think if you look at the last few minutes, that opportunity which Seleman got, he could have just played the ball to Mube. And we are done. That's small little things which can define a game of football. But if you are still failing to correct those small little things, then you still have to work. Because football is about understanding where you are.
FC Platinum started slowly this season but are yet to taste defeat. Mtokozi Stube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Zimbabwe's top netball teams, ZDF Queens and Makate High Flyers, have left for the Confederation of Southern Africa Netball Association Club Championships, which kick off in Windhoek, Namibia this Thursday.
ZDF Queens, the 2024 PNL champions, and Makate High Flyers, who finished as runners-up in the PNL preseason tournament, are poised to make their mark on the regional stage. Makate High Flyers have been drawn in Pool A and will compete alongside Wanderers Queens and Namibia Correctional Services, Maune Queens and Chwaneng Queens from Botswana, together with the Royal Flames of Lesotho. ZDF Queens will face off against the Navi Army Netball team and Mighty Gunners from Namibia, BDF Queens from Botswana and Lesotho Correctional Services in Pool B. The Kosana Club Championship, running from the 22nd to the 26th of this month, promises to be a thrilling event, bringing together top netball clubs from the region to compete for the coveted title. Anna Shemrombedzi, ZBC News, Harare.
Budding tennis players from the southern region are set to tussle it out in the second edition of the Polokwane Open Tennis Tournament set for South Africa next month.
After the ITF tournament's budding tennis players will shift attention to the 3-day Polokwane Open Tennis, which erupts in South Africa from the 13th of next month. With an increased sponsorship, the tournament is expected to draw players from Zimbabwe, South Africa, Botswana, Lesotho and Eswatini. Zimbabwean tennis coach based in South Africa, Tawanda Meki, is the organizer of the tournament.
The tournament is on its second year, so yeah, first year it was good. We managed to get some players from different countries and all that, and the locals. This year it's going up to 250,000. Last year it was 800,000. So we are actually expecting some players coming from back home here in Zimbabwe to come to Polokwane, and it's a good tournament as well because it's a prize money tournament where players fight for prizes and also they gain experience in a top level tournament.
The 3-day tennis fiesta will run from the 13th to the 16th of June in Polokwane. Mthokozi Stube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
And that's how we end the bulletin tonight. We're back again tomorrow.
From all of us here, it's good night.